Namaste, my brothers and sisters, and welcome to Namaste Today in the Zodiac Weather. My name is Christopher Witecki. I am the Sensei to Sirius Joy, here to stand in my heart and walk in the light. Such a pleasure to walk by your side. Today we are love casting in 5 dimensions in the beautiful Temple of Gaia on Thursday, January 8th, 2015. And today I'm excited, I feel good, because my natural born step 18, rules the day. And let me speak from a step 18 perspective and tell you, step 18 is the day where you wake up and go, I am ready to act. I am the shift. Let's do it. Now that's what I live for in my whole life. And I've learned I have to be patient up until step 18. And then I have to also be willing to get past step 18. But I'm a step 18 addict, man. I love to be decided, ready, and I'm ready for that moment when we act. And today, I think today is the day that we do act. Now, I chose this picture because I think it's just beautiful Capricorn in the sense of, for one, I believe that by the end of the year, we will be on a different mountain. I think we will find ourselves on a different mountain. And that means that we will have a different point of view and that we will see things on the earth from a different way. But that also means that we may have to climb down the mountain that we're on and be willing to climb up another one, or daredevil jump to the next mountain, which is usually what I do, unfortunately. And I had to say it has worked very well, to be honest, to jump from mountain to mountain. I probably will walk down this one myself. And this step 18, really, here we are in Capricorn with Pluto hinging on step 13 to step 15 this year. This is the change of the mountain. Most people are making a decision right now to either stay on the same mountain and give it one more shot, or move to another mountain. Now, by mountain, I mean metaphorically what gives us power, what we stand on. And that's what Capricorn consciousness rules, the part of us that feels on top of the world. In fact, look at this Capricorn goat in this picture. I think it's hilarious. She is looking at the photographer like, what the fuck are you doing on my mountain? Isn't that funny? And it's true. You know, that's the energy when someone, invades our mountain space. But we may not be on the right mountain. It may be time to have another view of life. And today would be the first day where a couple of small steps now may lead to a whole nother mountain in your this life and multi-life. Now, Pluto says everyone's going to get knocked off their mountain in the whole world. That happens. Whenever Pluto hits a sign, Pluto hits Capricorn, everyone gets knocked off their mountain, has to rebuild at least once. We know that happens with tragedies like Katrina and things like that with Mother Nature. So in some sense, this is just a very gradual truth that's going to happen. Every mountain of power that we have built on Earth is no longer appropriate for where the human race is according to the astrology. We need to rebuild our mountains, rebuild our power structures. Now, we're not being forced to do it now, okay? But those of us who are light workers who want to maybe sell water on the next mountain or create a theme park, which is me, is deciding, you know what, I don't see why I'm going to build on this mountain if it's going to change. That's how I look at things, and I'm tired of wasting time and resources myself. So I act in charge. It is time to take charge and move today. Take action in your life. We're going to talk about that in the Sensei Sunrise and where to decide. But before we do, let's first tame our brain, shall we? With the phrase of the day. I am decided and ready to act on my joy. Now, first of all, I am decided and ready. You have to know that an I am statement is actually the secret formula to manifestation. It's I am, not I want, please give me. It's I am. I am decided, I am ready. When you say I am, the universe says, and so you are, right? The universe basically reflects, law of attracts, what you are. What you be is what comes. So when you say I am, you're saying I am being this. And today, we want to be decided and ready. I am decided and ready. That means I can feel, I've already made all my decisions. I am that decided person. I am ready to act. That's how we stand in our power. And by kind of telling the mind just to relax and be decided and ready, puts it in the state of ease, I think is necessary. Now, one other thing I have learned in my 41 laps around the sun is that in order to not screw up the moment of action, in order to not jimmy rig your moment, because it does come down to some moment. Like the employer says, well, did you want a raise? That's your moment. Okay, that moment. Well, we want to instruct the mind, the smartass, to keep it simple. To keep it simple. okay? Because you don't want to be second guessing or questioning. It's like when the boss says, do you want to raise, or do you feel capable of a blah, blah, blah? Do you think you can handle this position? That's when the moment comes to switch mountains. That's the moment. You will know it. You want to train the smartass. I'm decided and ready. I know I want on a new mountain. We're decided and ready to act. And what smartass are we acting on? Our joy. Just keep it simple. Our joy, right? So in that moment, do you want the opportunity for this new job? Is that joy? Yes, that's all you need to think about. That's all you need to think about. We are decided and ready to act on our joy, and that felt joyful, and we're going to jump right now because we don't have time to second guess it or let the boss walk out the door or let this moment leave, because sometimes that's how reality does end up switching railroad tracks in a magical moment. Those grounded and ready, find it and act on it. And you'll find that the people who don't prepare at all are brilliant at this moment. I guess I just realized something about myself. Oh my God. So let's move on to the ruling step of the day. The serious step of the day is step 18, Capricorn, where we love and we trust and we're going to act on our decisions. And that said, the ruling state of awareness is technically ego. That's the ego part of me. Some people have a huge ego. It took me a long time to figure out what my huge ego was. I'm like, oh, it's all this 9 Martian ready to act. I get it now. And I've realized, too, we'll talk about it, you got to ground this action energy. So some people feel anxiety today. Some people, freak themselves out, drive to the edge of the road like, oh, and, go a little too extreme and that sort of thing. Because this anxious energy needs an outlet. It wants to act. Trust me, And it's made me a nervous Betty until I've realized a few things. So let's look at the chakras and how to prepare and ground and reinforce our color. First of all, orange, just so you know, we are manifesting. Anything past step 10 means we are now in active manifestation. So you really want to clear out the solar plexus if you can today and focus on re-empowering your orange. At the same time, we're basically changing our indigo. So we're telling indigo, hey, this is the indigo we want to go with. That's kind of interesting. And lastly, the root chakra. This is what's most important. This is the point I was making. I have to exercise like every couple of days because my root chakra is just crazy as a step 18. It's always ready to act. I've had healers who are like, your root chakra is overstimulated. I'm like, I think it's understimulated. And that's the whole thing, So you have to ground it. So today you can focus white light and exhale through Mother Earth, through your root chakra. And basically just look at the white light as a purification process and what I always kind of end up seeing are spots or purple spots that end up going to the earth, which represents some of the stuff I'm holding on to, anger, resentment, feeling stupid. That's an ego kind of thing too sometimes. And of course, we want to clear out our indigo and make sure our vision is clear. If not, and if you go out of the house just kind of doing this, I think you'll find that you'll be ready, willing to act at the right moment. So let's take a look at the cosmic clock and see how the planets add up. First of all, I want to point out the universe is giving us some clues today as we take our steps of action. The first one is the North Node in Libra. Now, the North Node in Libra at step 13, kind of the way I define this, if this was a reading and someone was born with North Node Libra, I would say this whole life is about you transforming the relationship to yourself into a new way, a new philosophy of relating to yourself. The fact that we're at step 13 North Node says to me the universe is saying, hey, be open to a new way of relating Libra to yourself. And step 13 Libra is that step where the consciousness shifts from mirage to marriage. So this is the line of marriage, right? Basically also. And it's also the line of relating to different sets of people. So when you are willing to relate to yourself differently, then suddenly you are hanging out with a different crowd. So it's like, I'm not a jock anymore, so I'm not hanging out with the jocks, right? And also the way the people you end up relating to and the people you end up having long-term relations with, also a reflection of how we relate to ourselves. So North Node 13 Libra says, hey, we're going to end up shifting. We're right on the edge of marriage right now. We're right on the edge of how we relate to ourselves and relate to the world. And what's not pictured here, which I'll bring tomorrow, is the South Node, which is what God's saying don't do. And that is conjuncting Uranus on the other side here at step 13. So the universe is saying don't do what? The old ego. I would imagine the ego that breaks down, the old whatever, the old way of breaking down, and the old ego that was maybe out of control or breaking things down at times because it really wanted to be behind this new North Node. incidentally, and that is the fraction going on between Aries and Libra as we make some sort of mountain change. Just want to tell you. Then we've got White Lilith. Now, White Lilith is the little nice kitty cat. And where's the nice kitty cat? Well, this means that we're creating, I think, healing emotional boundaries is what it is. I think White Lilith is a healer to some degree from what I'm understanding. And as I track her in my own consciousness and my own meditation, she's definitely healing energy. So we're healing emotional boundaries at step 11, Scorpio. All right? We just spent 2 years cleaning out all of our emotional gutters, all of us. We're all been left raw, but our gutters are all clean, so there's a rainstorm, no problem. Well, after all of that cleaning out, this step, whatever mountain jump you make, you want to make sure that the emotional boundaries are of integrity. Whatever mountain jump you make, you want to make sure that it's a new relationship for in your marriage. Therefore, it will be new groups or new mountains that you jump on in your marriages and your unions. But then, that is Black Lilith, and today the moon will be crossing Black Lilith, all right? And not just Black Lilith, she happens to be at step 4, which is the bitchiest step, and step 4 Virgo, which is a very, very hyper-aware step, I gotta say. So this means that we are facing, in some regards, our fears, but it's step 4. What fears? Fears around changing mountains. Fears around different belonging. That's 4. 4 is belonging, Aquarius energy. So we're facing fears around switching, and it's Virgo. We're facing fears that we're going to be on a different mountain and reality is going to change. So there's some fear facing. And remember, fear is false evidence appearing real. And in your zodiac weather, I'll give you some clues, each of you, on where I think that Virgo might show up. Also showing up to the party is Mars. Mars is at step 27 Aquarius right now. Now, first of all, step 27 is the Grandmaster step of Aries on an Aries rule day. So Aries, the king of Aries, is at the king degree of Aries. In Aquarius, though, whoops, sorry about that. In Aquarius, which means that where our ego is actually aiming for is something out of this world. Aquarius, something on another mountain, okay? I can just keep going on these references forever. Now, unfortunately, the sun won't get to Aquarius until next month, so we won't know if we actually landed on the right mountain for about 30 days, and that's not bad. That's what it takes God to manifest. Not too bad. But the point is that we're not operating completely clueless, or at least we shouldn't be, or I should say, whatever you leap for, it should at least be the big picture of your map, your Aquarius map of where you feel you belong, and that's what Aquarius is, where you feel you belong. So let's take a look of how do we deal with all this conscious? Well, that's what I call the Sensei sunrise. Again, look at this. This is another goat that's looking at the photographer. I found these photos and I was just laughing out loud. Another goat going, what are you doing on my mountain? And this to me is the mountain. We're ready to jump. We're considering moving to another mountain. And we may walk down our mountain and walk up to the other one. But the point is this is the turning point inside. And that turning point might be very quiet today, but it's still very important nonetheless, just so you know. So the way we are in our little conscious bridge here is we're up to step 18. As you can see, once we move into step 20 and beyond, our passion takes over if you do it right. Some people sit and don't allow the passion and then they end up manifesting it. But if your passion takes over, that's when you're catapulted through the change. So it's kind of like a time warp. So things go very fast, although things seem like they're going slow. We'll talk about that in the 20s. But we're on that edge. This is the edge of making that step. Now, the way this builds is I love and I trust. That's step 10. And we are going to take our decisions. But basically, as you know, our decisions are incisions in consciousness. So when we say take our decisions, we mean take everything we didn't cut. Take everything we didn't cut and act on it. Put it into motion. Basically, you got to go for it. Now, by going for it, I just want to give a couple of tips before the little break. First of all, as a step 18, I got to say, your universe will create the moment. There's always a moment. That's what I have learned as I've been a very amateur. My Mars is 1 degree, by the way. Talk about humbling. I was a complete moron, 1 degree, and I've had to learn how to act, right? So I'm learning as I go for it. And one thing I have learned is that when I was young at going for it, I went for it all the time, right? And I realized I wasted a lot of energy. I got hurt, all sorts of stuff that happened by misfiring, basically. And so I learned that the universe will create the perfect moment. Always does. And when you look back, always did. Everyone is like, oh, damn it, that was the moment. Well, you were right. That was the moment. Damn it. And unfortunately, it will come back. You can look at the astrology. It'll come back. You'll get another moment. It will line up again, blah, 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 blah. But it's not easy to create that moment. So you want to be prepared to act on a certain moment, okay? When you do act on that moment, you want to go for it, okay? Now, for means belong, all right? And the go for it is, we've had this as our daily gong before. You want to go for basically what your heart wants to go for. Whatever your heart feels like, yeah, man, go for it. I know that sounds elementary, but it's true. Then you go. And as elementary as that sounds, okay, that go for it spirit, when you really do feel it, okay, inside, you will feel it. You will feel the go for it signal inside your heart. It will be like a cheer. You do hear it, whatever your imagination likes to throw in that moment. Right? And the 4 is basically you're going where your heart belongs. You're taking advantage of the step 4. You're letting step 4 take over the moment, and you're going for it. At that point, once you go for it, you just go for it. At that point, your job is to manage your feelings as you jump. So meditate on that, my friend, and we come back, I'll give you the control trap that will be pertinent to taking action. Some more consciousness after this.
Live, love, be.
Having trouble in your love life? I have the answers. It's called Secrets of Birthdays, the Love and Lust Report. The biggest problem usually is people choose the wrong person. Not anymore. Find out your birthday secret, available online at secretsofbirthdays.com.
Soul Garden.
And here we are at the soulmart.me trading post. I'd like to point out some cool new little things coming out for you and your Sirius Joy, called the Sirius Joy Academy. For starters, my first class of the year, reading your own progress chart. This is January 18th. I'm doing this one time. You bring your progress chart. We sit down, we get deep, and it is recorded. So this is kind of like having a reading recorded, plus you get to learn from the other people who are also in the room. I'm doing my first Astro Study group this Sunday, January 11th at 2 p.m. Eastern. If you want to study death in the chart or tragedy in the chart, where things transform rather quickly. And if you want to learn just straight there from home, you can stream 2 classes right now. The Art of Reading People, which will teach you kind of like the basics of blending it all together. And So You Want to Be an Astrologer, which will teach you the basics of how to read your own chart. All those are available, of course, at soulmart.me. And the last thing, of course, to get in front of me. If you like to work one-on-one with me, you can do an hour right now and get a free 30-minute follow-up for just $99. If that's too heavy, come on in just for 15 minutes. We'll do a step reading. I'm going to talk about my natural-born step as being step 18. Learn what yours is in this quick reading that will be recorded as well. These are all available at soulmart.me. And I thank you ahead of time for your patience with all of that. So let's now move on to our control traps. We are doing the 11 control traps. We've been climbing up all the different ways that humankind controls. And we are up to now control trap 9, which is stealing the ball. Now, honestly, I think this is how most people control. You know, you can come up with a whole bunch of rules, but then some person just jumps right over the fence, just takes control, steals the ball. That's it. I don't care what your rules. I'm just going to steal the ball and do what I want right now. Armies steal the ball. This is abusing action, abusing ego, abusing pushing. Some people don't do any planning and they wait for this moment right here and they just steal the ball. And I got to say that most of the earth has had the ball stolen in this fashion, right? And so today you want to be cautious of people that sometimes steal the ball, right? So it's like at that moment I gave earlier where it's like, hey, the boss is going to offer you a raise and someone is like, oh, I'm interested. Oh, someone's trying to steal the ball. Right, when you were being offered it. So don't let someone steal the ball. And if someone steals it, steal it back. Okay? In that moment, you're now on their control trap 9. And of course, the control trap is the person that stole the ball, they had no plan. They may take that ball to destruction. That's their lesson to be learned here in a couple of moments. That might have been me, actually. There were times when I definitely stole the ball, I have to say. Being an aggressive step 18, just, I want to do it now, right? So I completely understand. Sensei, understand. So today, be careful not to steal the ball. There's a difference between taking it and running with it. And the other aspect of stealing the ball, I have to say, is this is kind of sounds awkward, but by not taking the ball, right? So sometimes we let people steal the ball. Sometimes we know Judy will take it. Sometimes we know Bob will raise his hand. Sometimes we know all this, and we let someone steal the ball, and we fall into our own bullshit control trap. That's my point. So don't do that. Sometimes non-action equals action in the worst case. But before you go out dribbling on in your spiritual court, let's take a look at the moods of each of your brothers and sisters today. And I'm going to give you some enlightenment on where there might be fear. Remember Moon crossing Black Lilith? So today, where are you releasing fears? Releasing means if it's not having real evidence right now, you let it go. False evidence appearing real. So if it's not real, you don't give it emotional energy. You release, you let it go. And the Moon crossing Black Lilith, I think, means that. Starting with the Scorpios. Sunny and social today for the Scorpios, but you're releasing fears around being rejected or being lonely, being without forever. And, you know, Scorpios go to the edge, so sometimes they can be super high drama, like, oh, I'll never find someone. Oh, come on. Just release the fears. I see no evidence. Everyone here is staring at you right now. Step 1, Leos, sunny and manifesting today. You are releasing fears, though, around having the money or the confidence to persevere. So release the fears. If there's no evidence, do not worry about it, Your Majesty. Step 2 is the Cancers, sunny and pensive, but releasing fears around mind games, arguments, legal battles, or being called crazy. That's a big one for Cancers. Always afraid of being called crazy for their feelings. So release all those fears. Step 3 is the Sagittarius, is sunny and professional, but releasing fears around career failure or making bad decisions. So this is kind of classic, but true. Don't worry unless you see evidence that there's a real problem. Aquarius says, step 4 is cloudy, chance of anxiety today, I do believe. You are releasing fears about being able to trust yourself, or, this is a big one for Aquas, releasing fears about being controlled by others if you work with them or open up. Wah, wah, wah. Hey. Step 5, the Geminis, sunny and resting, grounding their twins today. Sunny, nesting, and resting. That's the rhythm I was looking for. Sunny, nesting, and resting. And you are releasing fears around childhood or around your home not being satisfied or enough for you, or your emotional needs being fulfilled. So releasing fears around that kind of boogeyman. Step 6, the Librans, cloudy, chance of some anxiety today. You're getting to the core karma, the core past, the core spiritual pattern, releasing fears over something that probably has haunted you most of your life. Seriously, but let it go, especially if it is not real. Step 7 is the Pisces, cloudy, chance of some love issues or arguments in their relationships today. You are releasing fears around your marriage, so fears of letting yourself down that therefore lets other people down. So if you're focused on others today, make sure you got that one with yourself down first, fishy. Step 8, the birthday Capricorns. Happy birthday, Capricorn. Sunny and pensive today, but releasing fears around self-limiting beliefs or ignorance. I don't know enough, or blah, 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 or they will say I'm dumb. You know, that's the projection of your own, but it's around not being enough or some sort of self-limiting thinking, right? Limiting yourself before you even get out the door. Step 9 is the Aries, sunny and alert today, hyper-aware if you will say. But you're releasing fears around your health or your work or life ever changing. All right, so release those fears. Step 10, the Tauruses, sunny and childlike with the moon in Virgo. But first, got to release fears around broken hearts of the past or creative failures of the past. That I have already begun. Step 11 is the Virgos, sunny and cool with the moon in their sign, but releasing a lot of fears around ego. Black Lilith is in your sign, okay? But also, this is so classic Virgo, releasing fears around not being perfect and about being weak, all right? Or not being perfectly strong, right? So release those fears. You're lucky, the moon's in your sign, so you really have the most investment from the universe today to release those fears. So let's move on to our Lightwalker Parade and show you the clips that we have to support your day. For one, we have a full episode of Venus Prime Health where I worked on, with Damon, ways to clear your pineal gland. And I have to tell you that I've been following about 6 of these things in the last 4 days, and my dreams have suddenly come back at night. I'm not kidding. So my pineal was definitely blocked. We also have on our little playlist here, just to play it out, the 10 healthy weight loss supplements that help you lose weight in the new year. And yes, believe it or not, caffeine does help. Everyone, I think, knows that, but I don't know if everyone knows that. If you're watching on YouTube, please be kind and do subscribe. We thank you ahead of time. And if you go to soulgarden.me, you'll be taken to our Namaste Today page where you can like us. And don't forget to join our email list. And if you haven't been to the mothership, come on down. We've got all the shows that we've ever produced now available on the site. Modern Mommies, all the new ones, and super blogs, all sorts of information. The Mothership of Light, and in its 9th year, we say hello. Come on down and meet your fellow light workers. And that brings us to today's rock and roll gospel. We are actually parading down musicians who are Capricorns and coming up with a song that's appropriate for the day. And considering we're about to jump on a jump from mountain to mountain, this is kind of my philosophy right here, Jimmy Buffett. And of course, I don't think we should waste away in Margaritaville, but I think that's the kind of music that should be playing when you're about to do something kind of intense. Now, Jimmy is a step 3 Capricorn, born on Christmas. Step 3, jolly, jolly. Isn't that funny? The step 3 Capricorns are jolly, jolly, jolly. And I'm going to say Margaritaville is the song we have to listen to as we go off into our sunset and prepare to jump mountains. So, my friend, I will see you in 24 hours. I'm grateful as always to be walking by your side. Until tomorrow, remember I love you and live, love, be.
This is just so ironic.
So